Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Shadow and the Blade, where today we are starting with our eyes on the prize. This is not going to be trivial to take, but I do think this is the smartest 17th city for us. So I talked a little bit about how I'm pretty sure you just have to have all of your objectives completed at the end of a turn. In order to win the game, you don't necessarily have to be capable of holding the territory or anything, but it's important to remember what our objectives actually are. It's not enough to control Lothern. Every one of your owned... It says owned provinces here. I'm assuming it means owned regions. I'm assuming that we can't just take over Lothern and disregard this because we don't own the entire province. So we probably need to push Skaven corruption up here a little bit. You can see we currently have 4 points of corruption coming in just via osmosis, and there's a lot of corruption around, right? We need to try to drive this value up somehow. I do not much care for the fact that they have 20 points of untainted corruption coming from their buildings and commandments. That might be really hard to overcome. But we should try. So I think let's pull the mining building from... If we left the mining building in place at the shrine, we could still potentially get the tower. So let's take the one out of Angariel, and let's also remove a money-making building from the Shrine of Osirian. I'm sure that there were buildings that will allow us to increase our amount of Skaven corruption incoming, so let's try to get those built, get this place ready for us. And then, obviously, continue building up our discoverability, or our undiscoverability, rather, because we are going to need a lot of undiscoverability and more than a little bit of luck to get that bomb off. Okay. Let's talk about the new plan. What am I thinking now? So Poxmarsh will not necessarily be super difficult to take over, but obviously it would be way better for us if we could draw these elves out into the open. I'm wondering if we push Remamute forward a little bit. His army looks more vulnerable. Like, we could push forward and go into raiding mode. Trying to make it really awkward for them to continue ignoring us. And then have Sieprich with his stronger army go into ambush mode right in front, and hopefully draw her forward. And if she doesn't respond to that, next turn we can march mode, hit R right up to the settlement, and just go at her with our full force. Do we want to keep Vomik all the way back here? Do I think we're going to need these defenses? I guess I don't really have a good sense of what the armies in the area look like, which is definitely a problem. It is probably safe for us to have... Well, I might want to leave him where he is, but we have agents around here, right? Let's actually have one of these guys fall back to here. We can try to have an agent in this area so that at least we can see stuff coming in from some of the larger cities in the area. Okay, so we're not going to make an aggressive move here. I am going to have Vomik move away. We'll just do a normal movement, and if we see armies coming for the blood swamps, we can fall back and try to reclaim them then. You may as well upgrade that. Okay, where else do we have people who need orders? You guys are all taken care of already. Stuncritch is... Yep, that's sensible. That's a reasonable place for him to be. Alright, now we gotta make some decisions about how we want to approach the Galleon's Graveyard. We had a pretty embarrassing loss here not that long ago, and I'd like to avoid that same thing happening. So one of these two probably doesn't need to be... Let's move you down this way. Just trying to get an eye on all of the sides of the Galleon's Graveyard. So could you guys make it to the... No. You cannot, in fact, make it to the reef in a single turn of movement. And there's a big storm happening in the southern straits right now. So we might want to just wait. We're as far out as we can get. Let's have Infectique come and join us. And also Queek can come and join us. And we'll give it a turn and hope that the storm ends, because that would be awfully useful. Okay, so Toxodon is going to push for... It was Torivres, right? That's what I decided we wanted. What's going to be the best way to do that? It's probably going to be the case that we want to take Tor Karuali, because it's all cliff down here. It's not actually very easy for us to get on land. Yeah, okay. Well, that should be very doable. I think that's... yeah, I don't think there's any red in that arrow. Okay, you're going to have to march mode to get on land. And he's going to have to engage with the walls to cancel out the cities. Oh, you know what? You can just take it then. I was going to say, he's going to have to get on land to cancel out the city's zone of control so that we can then have Shife run past, but looks like he's got it under control himself. And this will help draw some of the elves' attention away. Let's get rid of that. We certainly don't need that. I'm assuming you'll be pretty close to full health. I'm surprised that his army's not going to completely replenish in a single turn. Let's grab magical reserves. It's maybe the next most important. Well, we'll probably do a lot of overcasting. Earthing is usually a good idea. We have not yet had it be the case that we overcast with a character so much that they were actually like in grave danger from it. But part of that is because I take miscast chance fairly seriously. If we stopped preparing for it, then we might start to see some negative consequences. Snikch doesn't really need to be down here anymore, I don't think, so let's have him sail in kind of the direction of the Galleon's graveyard. But again, trying our best to maintain not being in attrition land. Seeprich, we've already moved. Okay, so we're mostly done with this stuff. You need to get over here, try to join us up on land. Rel is where Rel needs to be. Cherryflesh is where Cherryflesh needs to be. And okay, I guess we're done. Yep, you're not going anywhere. And then we do have some of this to do. And in any settlement that we own in a like traditional sort of way, we probably don't have to worry about corruption. We have so many Skaven settlements that like the sheer osmosis is going to push us way north of 50% Skaven corruption in pretty much every place. The Black Tower could use some more stuff. Let's get one of these going. And I guess one of those. Okay. Naked Claw is right where he needs to be. Cherryflesh is right where he needs to be. And so I guess we're ready to move on here. I really, really need... I don't need. I would really like for this to break up somewhat. I want the elves to respond to our movements in the area. Fortunately, we shouldn't have to wait very long to see if that happens. Aw, they saw through Seeprich's ambush. That's a shame. Well, they're never going to just wander into us now. Uh-oh. Alistair the White Lion is actually getting military victories over there. My sorcerer got wounded out of one of those armies. That sucks. It's important to have at least some of your armies have lords who are sorcerers, so that thing can't happen. You can no longer... you cannot wound a lord out of an army anymore. You used to be able to. Early in Warhammer 1. I don't remember if they changed that with Warhammer 2, or if they changed that at some point late in the Warhammer 1 cycle, but it was a huge pain when it happened. So I think we're just going to brute force the Poxmarsh then. We should have 3 full stacks of guys in attack range, maybe even 4. Vomic's fairly fast. Okay, it's good to see our allies winning some victories there, continuing to hold the attention of Hexawatl. I really, really don't want to have to defend against them and the elves at the same time, so it's important that somebody keep them away. Yeah, I don't care about any of this stuff. Okay. Cool, great. Alright. So Alistair went into ambush mode, and then we saw through it, despite the fact that we don't have vision of the place that he's standing, which is interesting because it contradicts my understanding of how seeing through ambushes works. Maybe I have not actually understood that. Okay, so if we have Seeprich, just run up and siege the walls.
Attack them! Kill them!
And then we have Remamute come over and join him. Will this be good enough, or do I need to bring in some more armies to get that favorable auto-resolve? This is actually a worse auto-resolve than we had with just the one army. So that's interesting. It's definitely wrong, and it's interesting. You know, the AI, just... who knows? Who knows how it makes the decisions that it makes around things? Okay, what if we ran another army into reinforcement range? I'm a little worried that this is not technically going to count as being in reinforcement range. I'm wondering if we should come up... I'm going to do this. Whoa, frame rate. Please let me click where I'm trying to click. There we go. That's definitely in range. Does that give me the good auto-resolve? No, not really. Well, obviously, this battle's going to be tedious, and I don't want to... We've seen it. We've seen it so many times. But at the same time, obviously, it's very important that we, you know, win it. So I'm going to bring over one more stack, because it looks like we should be able to. Okay, but get up on land, though. You have movement left, I can see that. There we go. Okay, I had to tell him to get up somewhere else. There we go. That's a slightly better auto-resolve. We do not have a lot of food for this one. With the Pox Marsh under control, we should be able to... I appreciate that it already has a defensive structure in place. That'll speed that up. We could drive this up to exploitative planning, which is food and also Skaven corruption. The latter starting to be way more relevant than the former. Really annoyed about having lost my wizard. Let's grab... Do you want more armor for him or more weapon strength? Let's take more armor. He's going to get manhandled a little bit by these elves, so... Try to toughen him up a bit. Alright, so everybody came through that in pretty good shape. We'll mostly be at full health next turn, which is obviously important. And my agent, here he is. I was going to say, he didn't get wounded, did he? Just get him over here and see if we can't keep an eye on the area nearby. So the Blood Swamps will have proper defenses in 3 turns. Pox Marsh, it's going to be more like 7, but it's also easier to keep an army in Pox Marsh, so I'm not too worried about that. Looks like the storm cleared up. So we'll still suffer deep water attrition, but we will no longer suffer double attrition. Also, for some reason it looks like this spot doesn't have the attrition... Oh, see, now it has the attrition count. Oh, you know what? It didn't have the attrition cursor because I couldn't see it, I think. So we weren't 100% sure that we would be suffering attrition there. Even though, you know, the game rules are fairly straightforward on this subject. Alright, so it looks like Infectique is the one who's going to be limiting our movement. I am just going to move everybody in. We'll all just hang out near Infectique, and they can come and get us. And if they don't, then we will be in a very good position here to push the Galleon's Graveyard with a force that hopefully will not be vulnerable to getting caught out of position. Okay, we're in normal movement mode. Just wanted to make sure we were. Right, because we're going to have these guys push in, and then these guys are going to push in next turn. In fact, some of them can probably start now. Yeah. Although I want to be careful with this, right? I don't want to leave one army out by itself, which is exactly what would happen, so nobody moves out yet. Okay. Let's see. That's got actually a lot of our people dealt with already. Stuncritch is exactly where he needs to be. Let's talk about this stuff. Also, apparently Toxidin needs a level up. Okay. So Toxidin and Shife. It's weird how little movement he has left. I guess, I should maybe be a little bit cautious. Let's start with the agent. And I'm actually going to have him just sail down the coast. rather than getting on land, because all we actually need from him is vision. I just want to make sure I'm not running into a bunch of armies down here. Okay. That's looking pretty safe. So let's march hard so that we can hit Tor Ivaress next turn. Do we need to hang out for... It looks like we don't need any replenishment. So I don't know. There's not a particular spot, I think, that it makes sense to stop. Actually, never mind. Here is where it makes sense to stop, because that's apparently as far as Toxodon can go. Okay, we should be able to hit Tor Ivaress next turn. Shouldn't be an issue. Let's get a better defensive structure up here. Again, don't necessarily plan to hold this stuff, but it's better that it be difficult for them to take. We want things to be tough for them. So down here, Erat is providing very little benefit, but you know, I'm really, after what happened last time, I'm really nervous about an elven ship just riding out of nowhere with a full army on board. You're gonna stay right where you are. You're gonna stay right where you are, and then before we click end turn, we have some stuff to look at. So here we may as well do this. Oh, hold on. I gotta go back to Lothern. We have Undercity buildings, potentially, to build. So, what increases our Skaven corruption? Scavenger Raiders... They don't push it up by very much, though. Actually, it looks like maybe all of the buildings do the same amount. 0.25? Yeah, I think that might be the case. So, some buffs to armies in the region. But yeah, it actually is the case that every Skaven building gives the same 0.25 corruption. Well, is there a thing that we particularly want to replace these buildings with then? Does it matter? A subterranean strip mine would allow us to use the Skaven warp bomb in combats here, although it also drives the discoverability way up. Maybe we just want to rebuild exactly what we had. Yeah, I really thought we were going to have more interesting options. Okay. And the huge discoverability, yeah, okay. As soon as we build the workshop, we get that. So I'm going to wait until this finishes. And then as soon as it does finish, we're just going to go ahead and build that device, and we will see what happens. So that means we can, in fact, just go spend our gold wherever at this point. Doesn't really matter. Here in Averland, there's room for some stuff. I don't know, one of those. And one of these. Just keep pouring huge amounts of money into very low return investments. Alright, so I don't know if we'll be able to attack the Galleon's Graveyard next turn, because movement in this area is a little crummy, but we're certainly not far off. I wish we had more vision over here. I'm wondering about maybe removing some of the deeper tunnels. What are we at right now? If we drop these, okay, if we don't rebuild and we just drop the deeper tunnels, we can give ourselves some actual vision. Let's do that. I'm gonna trash this. We'll upgrade that. And then here I'm also gonna trash this. Let's just see about establishing some sight over here. This might be a time when it makes sense to have vision. So the elves have agents everywhere. They can definitely see what we're doing. They should not be terribly surprised by the attack that we're about to launch at the Galleon's Graveyard, so I'm curious what they're going to do about it. I'm also just now thinking that maybe we should have moved our anti-rogue army to the north. Maybe we should pull Scheif back. So that's actually a lot of high elf armies up there in the north, in a place where they could not have been just hanging around. And we're going to lose Chupiatl in the next couple of turns. That's fine. Because of the fact that we got walls up around it before they attacked it, it's going to take them a couple of turns to like build towers and stuff, so we have delayed that army significantly without really having to put a lot of effort in, which obviously is to our benefit. So Alarielle just didn't respond at all, huh? She's just acting like she doesn't even notice there's a problem. That's definitely interesting for us. Alright, let's start with those defensive moves. Sorry, after we get all of the reports about enemy agents that don't matter. So we have Alistar the White Lion pretty far away from our nearest army. And then there's another elven army coming in just north of Bretonia. We might want to turn Shife around. Or maybe we probably should keep them together, right? So that other army is relatively healthy. I don't want to undercommit to defense here, obviously. We could just start recruiting a new army in Couronne. It probably would finish before we were in any terrible danger. I just don't know that we have the money for that, actually. Let's maybe just turn these two around. Because what we're doing over here is not really important. We can come back and harass them again later. Alright, so we'll get you guys over there to play some defense. Over here, people have somewhat abbreviated movement because of the fact that last turn they switched into land movement mode. So we're certainly not going to be able to threaten Alarielle from this side. Okay, but over here we will be able to get onto the reef. We will still suffer attrition damage. There's no way around that, unfortunately. But if we get up on the reef, we can at least potentially get into ambush mode next turn. And the question is, how much work do we want to put into making it so that our armies are not grouped up in such a way that we are able to suffer the same fate that we did last time? Let's have Ikit Claw come in over here, right next to Bilefitch, and then we're going to have the other two come in a little bit further up the reef. Come on, just get... What are you doing?
Master Engineer.
Okay, what if we move you over a little bit? There we go. He cannot interpret my order on his own. He needs very specific instructions.
I hate seawater.
So we'll do this. It doesn't look like they have any reinforcements available. So we should be able to just get two clusters of two armies up, and then if Alarielle rides out and tries the 1v2, even if she wins, she should be in pretty bad shape for next turn. And let's see, Seabrich and Remamute should have their full normal movement allotment because they were on land the entire last turn. So we should definitely move them out. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I guess if we're moving out into attrition lands, attrition waters, we may as well go the whole way. I don't remember exactly where Seabrich's movement ended. You know what? This'll do. We could both go a little bit further. Okay, there we go. So, what do we want to do about the south? Obviously, I don't care about Chupiatl enough to go defend it, but do we want to move some people down to the Volcanic Islands? I definitely want to try to hold on to the Vampire Coast. Let's have... Also, the fact that this bug is now happening all the time with people's flags being left behind when they go to sea is really bumming me out, man. That's not how that should be. Yeah, let's have Vomik turn around and maybe also Hadar? Yeah, I'll have Hadar go back as well. So we're not directly defending the Poxmarsh, but Hadar can, like, live in the in the Awakening, and Vomit can live in like Fuming Serpent, and that way we have a lot of flexibility for defense in that area. Who else needs orders? I think we got everybody. Oh, Snitch.
Shadow Snitch.
Okay.
Assassin.
Staden can continue to scout out around here. Yeah, that. In theory, there are a whole bunch of elven armies that we do not know the locations of. They must be somewhere. But the elves control a lot of the map. There's a ton of space where their armies could be. So Arat's not really needed over here anymore. I guess we can have him get up here and he can just harass that army next turn before we attack. Maybe contribute to the fight a little bit that way. Rel is exactly where he needs to be. Obside is going to push in towards Shlanhuapek a little bit more. Shade Flesh is probably fine for the moment. Okay, so we're getting done with more and more areas here. Province is getting effectively completed. Okay, let's see if Alariel I'm assuming Alariel is going to ride out and attack one of our clusters of armies. Okay, this we don't care about. We now know that they have more than a full stack of troops down there, though. Which does make me feel a little bit better about having two armies run back on defense. I was a little concerned that I was overreacting, just like weakening our northern push for no reason. I do not feel that way anymore. Oh, that no-name got traded out for Alithanar, who is consistently embarrassed by our troops in battle. They're keeping us in suspense. Nope, they did nothing with Alariel. That is definitely the best possible outcome for us. Now we can just throw armies at that until the auto-resolve looks nice. We should be able to get 6 armies within reinforcement range, at least. I don't know if Queek is going to be able to make it or not. That should be a nice, easy pull, and then we can turn our eyes on Lothern, which is obviously the thing that really matters. I've already lost track of the turns. Is this the turn that we can start building the Doomsday device, or is it next turn? Boy, I don't care about this. Spray Infectique with the Overlord's Musk. Also, obviously we will keep the Sword of Cain, and it will grow in power. -5 public order in all provinces is like a very serious problem. Nope, keep it. Keep it, don't care. Look how powerful it is. It just keeps getting more powerful. It's not that serious of a problem, but it's not a problem either. We're 7 turns off of being able to do the public order commandment. Alright, Stuncritch. Alistair's running this way, which is a little bit strange. Not what I thought was going to happen. Let's have you head to the west. Apparently we have unassigned skill points somewhere. Okay. So Galleon's Graveyard itself has barely even a force, and Alariel's army is not very good. This should be pretty straightforward, but you know how the auto-resolver loves to dramatically overestimate the capabilities of elves. So let's get our encircle on, and then just throw troops at this problem until it goes away. And this is one of those situations where the quality of our victory is largely irrelevant, as long as it is, in fact, a victory. Oh, I forgot to have our agent mess with her. Hold on. Whatever. It's fine. Turns out we didn't need it. Okay. So, now that we hold the Galleon's Graveyard, we are immune to certain kinds of sea attrition, which is cool. It's going to take a second for this to get up to the level of Skaven corruption that we like, but it is trending in that direction. And also, now that we own this, it's a friendly replenishment zone. So let's have you guys get into encampment mode. We can just get a little bit of extra replenishment going on some of these forces. Obviously, the force that's actually in the settlement is getting the best replenishment, and also all these butterflies. And you know how Infectique feels about butterflies. It is that they are delicious. Well, I think Lothern has some real trouble in its future. Infectique himself has all the red line stuff we could want. So we're slowly starting to work on his yellow. Yeah, he got all the way to Renowned and Feared. Okay. And you, random spellcaster, can just pick up... I mean, this stuff's important. We do also want to make sure we get Wither. Wither is going to be valuable against the elves. Vomik is headed for Fuming Serpent. You are headed for... I said the Awakening, but I think I actually want him waiting in the Blood Swamps. Try to hold things down for a minute here. Can we get rid of this agent? There we go. Deny them a little bit of vision up north here. So, we are trending toward 64% corruption here. Trending toward 76 here. It's not going to take very long at all. Okay, things are looking pretty good, corruption-wise, in most of our territory. And here, we will attempt a thing that we have never attempted before. Let us create the workshop and blow up Lothern. It does seem like the Skavenly solution to this problem.
It cannot be.
For some reason, Snitch can't be ordered to get up on there. Okay, we had to fiddle with it a little bit, but we got him. So that is 7 large Skaven armies, most of them full size, all of them terrifying, ready to move in on Lothern. And maybe we'll blow it up with a bomb, maybe we won't. You know, if we get the opportunity to take it through military force before the bomb arrives, we'll just do that. It's not a big deal. But it would be neat to get the bomb thing happening. Staden... I guess Staden wants to come all the way around here, so we are going to have to either... It's going to make the most sense to just get on land. You move faster in the water, but he's going to have to sail all the way around all these islands to continue west. And Arat, just get in the water. I think I'm going to keep Rel right where he is. He's still providing valuable information. Cheery Flesh is going to move toward Lothern. You have to assume that there is at least an army in Lothern itself, right? That's got to be the case. Alright, and then we continue to upgrade. Oh, apparently missed a thing in Arguelon. Not that we desperately need that upgrade or anything. That's a very small amount of money. And honestly, it doesn't look like the loss of public order is all that big of a problem for us. We can see one place where public order is now falling where it wasn't before, and we have a lot of buffer in a lot of spots. So we will be periodically, as we continue to use the sword, we'll periodically be given that event where its thirst grows, and we have the option of putting it down right then in the moment, or letting it grow more powerful, but also more dangerous to wield. And obviously, first of all, we're right near the end of the campaign, so I think this makes mechanical sense, but also it's just super cool. We're going to continue to let it grow in power, and become more and more cursed. It feels right to murder a bunch of elves with the magic elf sword that they tried to use against us. You know? There's something very dramatically satisfying about that. Elven agents all up in my stuff, and once they show up, you can never get them out of there. Okay, Tyrion's going for it. He wants to do this right away. That's interesting. I think a Lithanar is jumpable now. Like, I think our two armies there should be able to just grab him as he tries to sail past. So he screwed up. He made a smallish error. Also, I just want to go ahead and say it now. If there is a grand battle for Lothern that must be fought, we will do it manually, even if it's totally auto-resolvable. That seems like one of those things where, just like for dramatic purposes, that's a battle that should happen on screen. We haven't heard from them for a while. No thanks. It's a tiny, tiny group of orcs. You can't deal with this yourself? I thought you guys were supposed to be good at war. Let's see if we can grab a Lithanar. I don't... boy, do I not care about any of this nonsense right now. Focus. Okay. Let's grab this dude, if we can. I think we can. He is right at the shore. Oh, maybe not. Nope, just try to get in the water. Yep, it will not let me just jump in the water and attack him. Well, that being the case, let's try this. I'm gonna have Scheif move to just outside Lungui and get into ambush mode. We'll have Toxidin do the same thing over by Leoness. And we'll hope that they will think that it is safe to be in the water because they do not know that we are right at the ports, and then we'll jump them next turn. And then once we take these two down, we can move these armies back into Elf Botherin's positions. Okay. Are we just sailing straight for the enemy here? Plus 58, huh? 34 from characters in the area, 20 from the military presence. That's more public order than we need. Let's continue to move toward Lothern here, see if we can get a little bit of vision of what's going on. So this is a real army. They have a sun dragon and some phoenixes and a lot of real elite type troops. I'm guessing that army's plan is to go up and defend Torivres and undo the damage we did on the northeast side. Okay, Lothern, in fact, does not have an army in it right now. I can't believe this takes 15 turns. I mean, it makes sense, because the cost of failing to see it coming is, like, quite large. But also, 15 turns. My guess is that's not going to work. So now that we hold the Galleon's Graveyard, we are immune to Reef and Maelstrom attrition, but we're still going to suffer some deep water attrition. I do want everybody to hang out here until we're actually all full, because of the fact that we're going to take damage traveling across. But we can be inside... Oh no, never mind. I thought we'd be able to be inside the water of this region and still be safe, but I guess not. So we're gonna hang out for at least one more turn. We want to move together, right? So we'll start moving people next turn. So you're good. You're good. Obside, just keep an eye out. I mean, maybe like somewhere around here, so we can see this city, but we can also see the southern road. That doesn't seem too bad. Let's have... What do I think these guys are going to do? They have a not quite full stack at their back. There's also a ton of dudes in Hexawaddle. Keep in mind, if we lose the Star Tower and the Fuming Serpent, it doesn't actually affect our goals at all. The Awakening is the only piece of territory down here that we actually care about. I'm just going to have Hadar sit right out here in ambush mode, and Vomik is going to do the same thing near the Star Tower, I think. Is the Star Tower as walled up as it could be? We could get it to the level 4 garrison building, but obviously We have a little bit of growth to do there first. This should work, though, I think. This should make sense. I don't think they're going to sail all the way around to Fuming Serpent, so... Alright, let's hope that works. Rel is still providing reasonable vision. Okay, Bordelo doesn't actually need any upgrades. Carcassonne doesn't actually need any upgrades. Here we go. Here's one where we can still build some stuff. Still make some money. We do have all of those up already. So give me like a pestilent, a pox cauldron, and I don't know, a construction cavern. That should be fine. Alright, so that area will be all maxed out when that's finished upgrading. Oh, over here we have a lot of stuff that still needs building, including a completion of this marsh. So that should probably be a higher priority next turn. And with 2 vials of warp fuel, should I be buying Doom Rocket upgrades? We certainly don't need the silos. You know what, let's take this. So now we have all of the relevant upgrades, and we can just pour the rest of our fuel into making Doom Rockets, unless we actually hit the cap for Doom Rockets, in which case we can buy that other thing. Very curious to see. So they did not see through either of our ambushes. Really curious to see what these armies off our coast are going to do. I'm also very pleased that Clan Pestilence is putting a little bit of pressure on them down there. Okay, Malmir's falling back to a defensive position. Tyrion is getting ready to fall into an ambush. Luthanar is just... Oh, they're just going back to Lothern. Or to Ulthuan. That makes sense. We can follow them over there and then kill them. Now Lothern has, in fact, discovered their Undercity. Now, we did have the Undercity get discovered back when we did the Vermintide thing, and they just let it complete. But when that happened, we were talking about a force that was pretty economically compromised. Lothern is probably incredibly rich, so I would not necessarily expect this to go as well. I'm sure we're just going to have to take Lothern through brute force. That's fine. We do lots of things through brute force. It's pretty effective. So we are, in fact, going to have to take Lothern and hold it for... I don't know exactly how long, but for some period of time, right? In order for the corruption to climb up enough. Where did Akorm respawn? Okay, he's not too far away. Let's get him in the water and try to have him catch up to his army. Poxmarsh definitely needs that immediately. Very high priority. Then also we'll build one of these just to make sure we're pushing that Skaven corruption. And let's start up here. So Alistair the White Lion is not very far away from our ports.
Machines.
Yeah, okay.
And sorcery.
Let's go get him. This plan totally worked. They didn't realize they needed to be careful about their positioning. And we can ride out here and smash him up real good. And he's in full sail mode, so he can't even run from this. That should be a much more positive balance of power bar than it is. That's fine. We'll fight it manually. We have to. So we get 0 menace below charges. I think we do want to spend some food on this. Let's just take the maximum number. I think we want to have more than 0. So we're probably going to have to fight a fair number of manual battles over the next couple of turns as we win battles like this where we are vastly advantaged, but the auto-resolver just doesn't agree because it overvalues the elven units by so much. So we're going to have to do this. The Elithanar army we will not be able to reach this turn, but we will chase them down, so we'll have to do that next turn. We will probably have to use our southern forces to take out Tyrion's army manually, and then there will be the business of dealing with Malmir at Lothern. So there's still there's still quite a lot of manual fighting left in our future. Let's gamble. We could probably do better than 14. And we're close enough together that we would benefit from a victorious gamble. Okay, so they have Alistair on a big, terrifying dragon, and then also the 2 phoenixes. Our reinforcements are... Oh, our reinforcements... Right. I had them come at these guys from opposite ends. That may turn out to have been a mistake. There's a non-zero chance. Alright, let's step the Warp Lightning Cannon out from behind the trees. What is the range on their archers is quite significant, but obviously the range on our Jezzails is significantly greater. So let's arrange ourselves to take advantage of that. And then we'll have the rattling guns out to the sides. And melee troops just get out of the way, kinda? Right? Like, you two should probably be pretty close to the front. See, that's not even in range. Well, I don't want to press them any further up. We might have to have them just move in at the beginning of the turn. Shife, I know you love to shed blood, but maybe just, like, chill for a second here, and we'll have the Hell Pit Abomination back here, so he's not, like, completely obviously giving away the positions of all the melee. Okay, so let's start by hammering Alistair. Let's try to kill him as quickly as possible, and then we'll worry about the birds. And I think for right now my plan is to just set up the secondary army in like a real fighting position as soon as I can, as quickly as they come in. Definitely remember to hit this. Okay, so you guys can start working right away. Let's have you focus here, and you... There's not actually that much infantry to shoot at. I mean, we can shoot at horses, obviously, and just like make them have to respond. I prefer to shoot at the archers if we can. Not necessarily super safe to, though. Alright, so let's ride our, let's move our melee up just to form a little bit of a wall that we can set up the rest of the troops behind. We have... I really wish they wouldn't come in like this. Like, units of the same type split up like that. That's never good. It's never helpful. And Wizard Lord... Try to get behind some of the melee. But we're definitely going to be casting some spells over here. We are going to need to in a real hurry. Let's keep an eye on what they're doing. Obviously, we're going to have a lot more stuff coming in here. Don't run forward. The Warp Lightning Cannon should immediately start firing on Alistair. And so they're going to just split their army in half, huh? I don't think this is a good idea at all. I think they're going to suffer very badly here. Let's move up and try to have him drop the tornado on these 2 units to have them run forward, and also obviously to have them get cut to pieces quickly, because that's pretty important. Let's make sure we're focusing catapult fire on the units who are not going to get cut to pieces by that thing. And I'm kind of just going to let the... Looks like this bird is not moving back to the other direction. Sorry, that's not the right Warp Lightning Cannon. Let's maybe have the Jezzails and the Warp Lightning on this side, the cannon on this side, focus on that then. There's going to be a lot of pausing this battle as we try to manage 2 fronts simultaneously. Do we want to just throw up? I mean, we may as well. We're probably not even going to have time to use all 3 of our orb charges, so may as well toss one out here. And after that goes out, we'll throw up a quick Warp Lightning, and then we will come back over here and try to make sure that we're getting Shife's tornado off as quickly as possible. Yep, just about the earliest we could have done that. And do we want to drop this first unit of Skaven reinforcements down on the... I think I'm going to. They may just immediately kill us with that Phoenix, but I think it's worth trying. And I'm going to reveal our our melee here. Let's have, obviously, the Sword and Shield Storm Vermin run out in front. Then the other guys can form a new line nearby. I'm not sure exactly what their horses are going to do here, but they're definitely going to be in real rough shape real quickly. Let's try to keep an eye on what's going on as much of the battlefield as possible. Okay, interesting that that thing has decided to run this way. Okay, they're casting awesome Phoenix spells on us. Those are cool. I mean, you can't deny that those are pretty neat. So our reinforcements are panicking already, despite the fact that they did not get attacked by the enemy in any meaningful way. I think I'm actually going to have these catapults fire at units that are not harassing this half of the army, because I don't think they're going to be needed on this side. Let's throw up a quick Howling Warp Gale. And we're going to grab Warp Lightning Cannon and both Rattling Gun units. Kill Alistar. Make this happen. And then, honestly, I don't really even know what to do with you guys. I guess I'm going to have them ride this way, and we'll turn inward. But, like, the stuff over here is all horses. They broke all of their cavalry this way, and that does make it difficult for us to interact with them a little bit. Let's get some Eshin Triads over here. I don't know why their high magic mage has just ridden in to attack us. Like, that's a thing that you can just do as a wizard. But there's going to be a price paid on that one. And we don't really need you yet. Now, the ranged units are still doing the majority of the work on this side. But let's have Shife. I mean, I'm going to turn off guard mode on Shife. We're going to put him into melee mode, and I'm just going to have him run at some archers. I think on this side, though, things are gonna break pretty badly for our opponents pretty quickly. In fact, let me turn off guard mode for all these units and just engage, give chase. This side of the army is going to surrender pretty much immediately. Alright, another bird has come in range, so let's try to focus it down. But it's looking like this side of the army is going to be collapsing into that side of the battle pretty soon here. Let's make sure... Okay, that's working. Alistar is suffering for his art. Let's make sure you guys are working together on this. Keep them off of the ranged. You lot need to start moving up. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to turn off guard mode for the whole army. I think this is a situation... Sorry, let me re-enable it for units that don't move and fight well. Okay. This is a situation where we can just run at people at this point. So let's start doing that. Let's start running at our enemies. I'm going to leave some of these guys in one piece over here because we need to make sure that if Alistar lands, he gets punished for doing so. You guys should come over here, I think, rather than pressing this way, because these guys are so under control, I think. You know what? We could break these Sea Guard really fast. Alright, Alistar's dragon is down. And things are only going to get worse for them from here. It's like we got our spear units getting in on that Phoenix. That'll be under control soon. And we just have a lot of damage. Let's make sure that we are sending units at these enemies. Shife is going to be obviously of particular import here. Looks like that Phoenix is just about dead. And it looks like it's staying down, which is good. Okay, there's the break. Again, no idea by what math you could get that this battle could be an elven victory or even anywhere close to a kind of even battle. We lost a total of about 150 units, 150 bodies. And I think they were almost entirely from that one unit of storm vermin in Toxodon's army. So we're in good position here to begin, or rather to resume our campaign of havoc on the northeastern part of Ulthuan. We'll make sure that we're moving these two armies together so that if Elithanar turns around, we get to defend against him together. And there's every chance he will, because remember, the balance of power bar on the auto-resolver is how the AI makes their combat decisions. So Elithanar may very well turn around to come and slay us because he's convinced that he can. Alright, yet another kill on poor Alistar. So these are waters that we still control. I'm gonna not full sail. Let's keep our units fresh. And friendly waters here, so we will get lots of replenishment. Elithanar's army's not even any good. It should be pretty easy if he wants to come and play. Murta, what do I want from you? I want to finish elusive. So Stunkrich doesn't really need to do anything here. We could go over there and kill this guy. But if he can burn down Karaberg, which I don't think he can, we would like him to do so, right? It would be cool for us if he succeeded at that. I might actually have him just hang out, have Stunkrich just wait outside Ubersreich. I know that this is a long run from the eastern parts of our territory if a rogue army should spawn out there, but I think we want to bias his position toward the west coast a little bit, more than I had in the past. Alright, are we all feeling like moving forward now? Yeah, everybody looks like they're in good position. Or good condition, rather. So we'll probably try to land... Well, I was going to say we'll land over at this beach to give ourselves some room to approach Lothern, but I don't really see a reason to do that. Let's just sail in the direction of Lothern. So who? You. You are the one who is least likely, or likely to be able to move the least in this direction. You are the one who will determine how far the cloud of units, how far the cloud of armies, rather, is going. And we just stay together. You know, the classic Skaven buddy system. Some people call it overcautiousness. I call it a Rat King. Alright, this is certainly a big cloud of boats. Staden doesn't really have anything terribly important to do. There's no sense in assaulting these units when they're just going to heal next turn. I think he just hangs out. So let's have one agent run to the west of Lothern, and he'll hang out over here somewhere. Let's keep an eye on what's going on both sides. Arats can also head up here. Do we need somebody to stay back and watch the graveyard? I guess if we do, it's... Oh no, never mind. This guy's not actually an agent. Yeah, let's have somebody else stay back and provide some sea vision. Rel is doing a fine job where he is, but it's just too much for one set of eyes to cover. Alright, so we're gonna take down Tyrion probably this turn. Right, yeah, you can jump him. So this is a thing we're probably going to want to actually do at the start of the next video, right? What is the best way to do this? It's probably just get you into water and sail you to here. And then I'm going to do this one a little bit more carefully. Because I really want these... I want these two to come in from the same direction. I guess I'm not going to get a lot of choice there. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Okay, so this is way more winnable than that balance of power bar suggests, but we are definitely going to want to fight it manually. So I think this right here is where we're going to call it for today. That is going to be it for us for right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow. There's a lot of elf slaying that needs to be done, and a lot of it is going to have to be done by hand. The old way, the artisan way. Come back to see that happen, and we'll see you then.